In this use case, I'm going to walk you through how to proactively monitor a multi-tier application. To do that, we really need to create a service. So first we're going to do that, which this will take a little bit longer. So to create a service, you go under Services, Manage Services. And there are tutorials you can watch, but we're just going to jump right in and let's create a new one. So I'll click on New, and I'll name this, down at the service name, Multi-Tier App. And hit Next. As for the end user component, we do want to keep it as end users because that's perspective we want, so we'll just leave that as is. I'll hit Save and Next. For this use case, for the front end, I'm going to call this My Web Front End. So I can change the name to My Web Front End. And they are servers, so again, you can change that to load balance if you need to, but these are servers. And then type in the IPs of those hosts. So I'm going to go with those IPs. And then hit Next. So now what will happen, I'll hit Run Discovery, and it'll do a discovery of those two IPs that I've done. So it's going out there and finding all traffic coming to and from those two IP addresses. And we'll let it go and do its discovery. And I'll hit OK. So after the discovery, we can see that we found quite a bit of traffic from those two web servers. So I'm going to simply select this guy and hit Add. And now I can give it a segment name. So I'm going to call this Web. So this is my web traffic. And I'm going to leave this all, it's TCP/80. Keep the same name, and I'll hit Save. So now you notice up on the map, I've got the end users to my web front end, and the link is titled Web, so I've already built one part of the service. Now the next step after we do the segments, we're going to add the components. So I'll simply select Next, and we'll move on to that portion of this discovery. So now we're going to look at the web front end, and I just want to run a discovery, see what we can find out there. And we found 4 segments. I'll hit OK. So here we see we have a lot of Oracle traffic, database traffic, and LDAP traffic. And the Oracle is 50% of all the traffic, so it's certainly a major part of this service. So I'm going to add this guy in, hit Add. I'm going to name this DB for DB traffic. And there's the ports that it's running on, and the new component, I'm going to call this my Oracle servers. Seeing 2 of them, and I'll hit Save. And now we'll update the map with that information. And next I have my LDAP traffic. So I've got TCP, UDP, and some of it is going over secure. So I just want to combine all these together into one. So I'll hit Merge. Then I'll label it like I did before. I'll call this LDAP and give it the title, LDAP servers. Server, and save it. And that'll update the map to represent Oracle servers and my LDAP server. So now I'm seeing the 2 dependencies on this service. I have my DB service and my LDAP side going through my web front end to the users, so I can see that this is the solution or the service that we're building. Now I know it's pretty much the end of this dependency, so I'm just going to hit Next. I don't need to run a discovery because we're far enough through, so I'm going to skip this end of the discovery. And I'll hit Next again. And next, what metrics do I want to profile over time, then trigger alerts based off these profiles? And the defaults are usually good to go with. You could add in more metrics or uncheck some of them, but what we found over time is go with the defaults. That's usually a good place to start, a good baseline. So I'll click Save and Next. And then we can define the locations that we want to use. For this traffic, I want all, so I'll go with the default, Save and Next. And then define how you want these alerted. Do you want log only, default, trap console? Again, we'll go with the defaults, and want notifications across the LDAP traffic, database, and web front end. Save it next. And then you can enable the service. So here, because we did it to all different locations, there are 48 profiles or policies being used. And there are a limit to the number of policies. So keep that in mind as you build out these services. And I'll simply hit Enable Service. Okay, so now I want to add in that new service to a dashboard that I've created. So here I'm at Joe's Service Dashboard. It has many different services within this dashboard. I want to add in the one I just built. So go to the top, add a widget. Under the category, this is obviously going to be a services. It's a service map. Now look at the drop down, and there it is, multi-tier application. Select it and finish. So back to the dashboard, and if I scroll to the bottom, I should see my new service, and there it is. I can just pull it up here if I'd like. Now it's in the location I want, and I can highlight any of these links and do some troubleshooting if I need to, or go to a specific server, and again, do more troubleshooting. So that's how you create a service and add it to an existing dashboard.